Kia ora, friends, and welcome to the Monday Night Chores, the best retro wrestling podcast where we look back on Raw and Nitro from the 90s to decide which show was the better during the Monday Night Wars. I am your host, Dave Mack, joined by the podcasting equivalent of a Terry Funk and Cactus Jack exploding barbed wire match, Gareth Wadland.
Hi.
That's the energy you wanted.
That's it. It's the energy. And the podcast equivalent of a John Moxley and Kenny Omega exploding barbed wire match, Sam Wakefield.
Hi, Dave. I'm super fucking pumped to be here tonight.
Perfect. And joining us, coming all the way from the brilliant There Is Something About Wrestling podcast, it is the immortal GG himself. How are we doing, buddy?
Hello. Woohoo! Woo! No, too much.
Listen to that.
No, that's the
how
energy
you do
we
it.
want.
Too much. That was too much.
I feel in fear of my fucking job, and we're only like 2 seconds into the show.
Not being funny.
It's not who can woo best.
It's who woos the most.
Finally saying goodbye to 1995 and hello to 1996 wrestling. 95 is generally considered one of the worst years of all time in wrestling, so the only way is up from here, chaps. So we thought we'd kick off this show with a brief look back at what we watched in 95 from Raw and Nitro and kind of what we popped and flopped for overall. So for me, I was pretty surprised at how much I popped for the Four Horsemen. I mean, other than the fact I've not seen them all together on television yet as a four on Nitro, but I knew they were kind of legendary. But Flair and Arn, amazing. Pillman looks great, and Benoit's Benoit, so that's really good. So in 96, I am looking forward to seeing a lot more of them. My flop, unfortunately, for 95 is just basically Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler commentating. They are unbelievably woeful with the worst scripted lines going, so I'm hoping we'll see less of that, but alas, I don't think we will. Gaz, how about yourself? What was 95 for you in a nutshell?
95 for me in a nutshell was moving away from my one true love, Mr. Hogan, and finding another love to take his place, being the Stinger.
What a fine mistress he is.
I was shocked how much I enjoyed watching Sting and everything that comes with him. I'm, again, not really watching WCW back in the day. It's quite refreshing to go back and watch him and see a comparable to the big star that he had in Hogan to the big star he had in Nitro, Sting. So, yeah, I was quite impressed with that and how he comes across and everything. His look, just the overall package, not the total package, Lex Luger, but the overall package of Sting. Awesome. And flopping in 95 was for HBK, the whiny prick.
No, poor Sean.
Yeah.
His bad back and his Syracuse trip, and you don't feel sorry for him?
No.
His high drug dependency.
He's not you. No, I don't feel sorry for him at all.
I ain't got a bad back, Gaz.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I've got all the other things. Yeah.
Sam, what about you? What was your highs and lows from season one?
It's been a hard slog, 1995, and most wrestling fans who get to our age and are still watching wrestling at some point have had a gap year, haven't they? Most people will tell you, I stopped watching it at this point, and then I saw it again and got back into it when I was older. 95 was that gap year for me, so it's kind of knocked the lens out my rose-tinted glasses of WWF, because I remember 1990 up to about 93, maybe a bit of 94, and things were pretty good then. And I've just watched 95, and we've got Raw in sports halls with all, like, just nothing really, is there? Just a sign that says Raw in a ring, and there's some great talent in there, but like,
you never see it.
I mean, what is the output? Yeah, it's just really bad. And then Nitro was pretty much as I remembered. It looks good. I mean, it's all over the place, isn't it? But like, for stars they've got and the energy and the guys who go on to headline WrestleMania in years to come, they're all there, aren't they? Benoit, Guerrero, you've got Pillman, who was heavily involved in the Attitude Era. Everything's there. And as I said last week, I'm watching it in 95. If you just watched that in 95 and said in how many years' time one company's going to go bust and the other will still be here, I'm sure everyone would say, well, WWF, it's fucking awful, isn't it?
So essentially, your pop for 95 was Nitro, and your flop is just Raw.
Yeah. Well, yeah, really.
Fair enough. GG, I'm assuming I'm assuming you've watched every episode of Nitro and Raw as well from '95, so you can answer.
Oh yeah, yesterday I actually watched it all.
Yeah. Good day.
My favourite part was when you said something funny in the last episode about 1995.
Not sure that happened,
Dave.
to be fair.
Dave ain't ever said anything funny.
I remember bits of '95. Like I think you nailed it on the head with the commentary. Just from listening to your guys' episodes, some of the stuff that Jerry Lawler's come out with is just abysmal. The stuff about the rap a lot the couple of weeks ago, that was just terrible.
Unforgivable.
Terrible.
Yeah, a lot of, especially with Jerry, you just don't understand where it was a good idea. At what point does someone sit down and go, "Oh, let's start taking the piss out of people who've died"? And
well, I reckon it was at the point when Jerry and Vince sat down and went, "What can we take the piss out of this week?" And they went, "Oh, yeah, we'll do that."
It's that dead dude from yesterday. Let's do that shit. I thought today would kick off with the show that ended season 1 with a 34-11 lead in our head-to-head table of best shows, WCW Nitro. Now, this is going to go on a bit because we've got a bit to go through, as Nitro held a show on Christmas Day, but that was a taped show and Raw didn't have a show. So we're not going to do the Christmas Day show. And we've also got Starrcade on the 28th of December, which was WCW versus New Japan. So I'll just go through the results. The Christmas Day Nitro tapings: Lex Luger beat Scotty Riggs, Sting beat Big Bubba, Dean Malenko beat the mysterious Mr. JL, which during the match, Eric Bischoff accidentally calls him Jerry Lynn, so not so mysterious anymore.
And I thought it was Rey Mysterio all this time.
Well, the curtain's been pulled back for you, Sam, mate. It's gone. We have Randy Savage versus Flair, which ended in a DQ finish when Luger got involved and they had a big brawl to end that kind of Nitro. We then go on to Starrcade, which was WCW versus New Japan. You had Jushin Thunder Liger beat Chris Benoit, in which was a pretty decent match, to be honest. Koji Kanemoto beat Alex Wright. Lex Luger beat Masahiro Chono. Johnny B. Bad beat Masa Sato, and Shinjiro Otani beat Eddie Guerrero. Randy Savage beat Hiroyoshi Tenza, and Sting beat Kensuke Sasaki, meaning that Team WCW won. And I watched this event, and it's really hilarious because the whole night they spend the time shouting USA all the time. So you've got Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Alex Wright in the USA team.
A German, a Canadian, and a American Mexican.
So absolutely brilliant. We then had Ric Flair beat Lex Luger and Sting by countout in their three-way, what do they call it? The triangle match. I watched it. It's a weird one because it was only 2 men in the ring at one time. So you had to tag people in and out, and then it ended up you just had Luger and Sting got counted out and Flair went on, and Flair goes on to beat Randy Savage to win the World Heavyweight title for a 12th time and bled like a stuffed pig, as you imagined he would.
So really it was a fatal three-way, wasn't it? It was a fatal four-way with 3 men. You have to be tagged in.
Fatal
No, hang on. No, that's not fatal. There is a match, isn't there, where... Go on.
Shush now.
We are Nitro, the 1st of January 1996, Sam, for Christ's sakes. We are live from Atlanta, and we get a skyline shot to keep Sam happy, and Eric Bischoff wishes us a happy 1996. Our hosts are Eric Bischoff, Bobby Heenan, and Mongo. Eric says, in
case our fans have been vacationing the holiday season somewhere in a third world country where the news didn't get to them, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, has made history and become the World Heavyweight Champion for the 12th time. Unprecedented, but tonight...
They hype up the Sting and Luger match, and apparently they're meant to be friends, but are they not? We don't really know. So it was kind of a bit of a reserved opening for a change. I was a bit disappointed. I thought we'd be shouting about 96 things a lot, but...
We did talk about the Olympics. That was mentioned. Yeah, they mentioned the Olympics in 96. Yeah, going on, because that's in Atlanta, wasn't it? In 96.
That'd have been Kurt Angle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, wasn't it like Athens 96?
That was in Atlanta. That's what I'm talking about, I think. Now I'm thinking, was it? Fucking was it? I don't know now.
They definitely say something about the Olympics, I'm sure.
Yeah. What about Pepe? Pepe watch? What was he wearing?
I was just about to say, you guys are going to just skim over.
No, we're not going to skim over that because I couldn't work it out. It looked like a little USA outfit, like an Uncle Sam type outfit.
It was like Stars and Stripes because Mongo talks about him wearing Stars and Stripes. But he had like little... This is only good if you're watching the YouTube one, like little trousers, didn't he? But so like the front of him looked like he was wearing trousers. But
was he not wearing chaps?
The guy that rides the ostrich?
Yeah,
his legs
Rod
dangle
Hull.
over.
Rod
Yes.
Hull. Yes.
Yanks
I'm
have got
sure
no clue.
in America in 1996 on a wrestling show, Mongo was referencing Rod Hull.
Everyone's like, yes, that's the one Mongo.
Who wasn't in 96 in America, mate?
Well, that was his breakout year in America. That's the year he broke for states. Him and Emu got fucked up in Las Vegas.
I was an emu, not an ostrich. Oh, sorry.
It's close enough.
An
Sam
ostrich.
knows he's a mega fan there. So our opening match
I couldn't
is.
keep my eyes off. So I could not keep my eyes off that bloody dog the whole time. Like
Right.
you guys are obviously probably quite sensitized to it because you've been watching.
Yeah,
I literally the saddest eyes I've seen on any
I
dog
know.
in my entire life.
I feel sorry for this dog being like traipsed around the entire country, moved from like week to week, just
I
travelling.
think
here,
it's
there, and
more the
everywhere.
fear in his eyes when he's like, fuck, what are you going to put me in this week, bruv?
Doesn't
And
even
it's
get to
also-
pick his own outfit.
No, he don't.
It's
I
the
think
live
Mongo.
crowd as well, isn't it? Do you remember like all the backlash Cody was getting because he kept bringing Pharaoh to like shows, and a few
yeah.
times like he's got pyro, and this dog is like, "Ah," and they're like, come on, boy, come. And you go on his Twitter page after all of them, it was like, please, like even animal, like welfare
Yeah.
groups, do not bring this. It's a fucking husky. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is the thing I just think with little Pepe, like it's just for noise of the crowd. The dog don't know when Kevin Nash is acting and when he's, being just nice Kevin Nash and he's screaming and he just thinks, shit, Kevin Nash.
Vader
has
comes
lost
up to
it.
stroke him. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not right.
To me, Pepe, it's like water off a duck's back. I don't even notice him now. It's like,
No,
oh,
we
right,
are.
yeah, I know
there's a
it.
big American footballer holding a tiny dog dressed as
We
Uncle
talked
Sam.
about it a lot in the first few weeks, didn't we, really?
Yes, Then you're just like, oh, it's Pepe there, and he's dressed up like a pharaoh. It works.
Well, he's dressed up as Cody's dog.
Yeah, I like the fact you know Cody Rhodes' dog's name. You're
He's
that
got his
much of a
own-
mark.
Twitter probably, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got merch.
Has he?
Pharaoh's
Does he
got
follow
merch.
us?
Probably.
You can buy it. Just Pharaoh don't follow us. Come on.
Fuck.
Everyone's got
Yeah,
merch, though, in AEW. Don't matter who you are, does it?
Do they? Does
Yeah,
Penelope
everyone's
Ford?
got it. Probably.
Does she?
It's a t-shirt that says, I'm a slut. I don't know.
Jim Cornette's proud.
All right. Yeah.
Slanderous, guys. Absolutely slanderous. She's actually a really nice
fuck
girl.
off.
I met her on the cruise.
Sam.
Yeah.
When are we going to hear about this cruise? Seriously,
We're not.
Oh, they won't
guys
ever
never
let me
let you-
talk about it. They'll
No.
never let me
Oh.
talk about it. More than anything, I don't think my wife will.
Should we have a chat about that afterwards when
Yeah.
people who don't care?
Well, you think
Don't
I'm
have to
going to
listen.
give this cruise story away for free, not to be published on a podcast? No way.
Patreon content.
I'm waiting to be approached by ESPN.
all the scoops. You've got all the
Yeah,
scoops.
or what's that Wrestling with Shadows thing? When Sam
Dark Side-
Wakefield went on it. Dark
Dark
Side,
side
of
of
the
the
Ring.
ring.
Dark side of the
And
yacht.
Sam Wakefield on the cruise.
You know.
Dark Side.
Right, our first match is Arn Anderson versus Randy Savage. And first things, Arn Anderson's looking badass as ever, and he's looking awesome. Immediately, he's working over a Savage in the corner. They kind of brawl on the outside, and Macho Man throws his jacket at him. And Mongo says,
There you go. Slap him with those streamers off that jacket, baby.
Macho with an atomic drop, and he hits Double A with a double axe handle for a 2 and chokes him out in the corner. 7 minutes in, Bobby Heenan tells us that
This man can break every bone in a chicken leg and never touch a skin.
That's a very specific skill set, isn't it? That.
is it though? Because has anyone tried to do that?
Sam, you got chickens.
Yeah,
Go on, do it now.
get one in.
I fucking
Get-
love my chickens. I'd
Send
never
Emily
do
out to get one.
nothing. I could easily. I've got quite a lot of chicken stories at the moment, so don't even tempt me.
Is it like you can have a film, Chickens on a Cruise, like Snakes on a Plane? Boom, you're off.
Chickens
These
in the fun
motherfucking
box.
chickens on this motherfucking cruise.
Yeah.
That's gold.
I think it's skillful. I think what he was getting to is that he's got such a fine technique that he can manipulate the joints and break the bones, but you're never going to see it.
like
you're never
Pete
gonna
Dunne,
break
but more
the skin.
refined.
It's like learning that skill of how to hit your missus without bruising her or leaving marks, isn't it?
Orange
Body
and sock.
blows.
Orange and sock.
Or vice versa, Sam, in your case.
Emily's going to literally come in and right hook me to the head in a minute. I'll just go,
I can't wait to put that on YouTube. That'll be ace. Arn grinds away on Savage's arm for a while, and we get a comeback, but then he hits a DDT for a 2. We get a ref bump, and Double A quickly grabs his trusty brass knucks out of his pants, but Savage gets hold of him and he knocks him out for the pin at 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Benoit and Pillman hit the ring and then moaning to the ref over the brass knucks, but he's having none of it. He didn't care. I thought this was a pretty solid opening. I thought even the rest holds actually worked for me because it made sense. No complaints kicking off a show with this kind of match. Happy days for 96. What did we think, chaps?
It made me laugh at the beginning in true Macho Man style. He storms the ring. He just lost his title last night. He rushes in and proceeds to get his ass beat for the first 30 seconds. And then, he does get the upper hand, but it just made me laugh.
He's not going to be 100% mentally in that ring because he's got a lot of animosity in himself. Arn Anderson, the thinking wrestler, he's going to show you what it is to be on the mat. There, simple. Watch this. Macho Man Randy.
What was your thoughts, Gigi? Was this a good opener for you?
I was expecting a bit more of a wrestling match when you hear Macho Arn. I love Arn Anderson's entrance music. It sounds like 90s porno that you'd see after hours on the Channel 5 or something.
He looks like a 90s porn star and all, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But his him working on the arm was incredible. There was a moment where Macho Man goes for a left punch because that's what the arm he's been working on, and he sells it, and then he throws Arn Anderson into the turnbuckle, goes to Irish whipping, and then sells the arm again. And I actually made a weird noise when that happened because I was so impressed.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
If a match is making you make weird noises, it's good. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, I like that.
But I thought, it was good.
Arn Anderson backing up. He's in the corner. The Macho Man free now, but he's hurting. He is hurting. That was not a good move hitting with your sore arm, Macho.
You're missing my favourite bit in it. So he pulls the brass knucks out to clump Macho.
I know what this is going to be.
And then Macho clumps him and then puts him back in his trunks afterwards.
He did.
Which is amazing. What a ingenious thing to do, to put him back. Well, I ain't got him, ref. Check his trunks, bro. And then he's got
Did you see him smell his hand after as well?
it just
as the ref raised his hand,
well.
he just sort of went.
They don't call him Randy Savage for nothing.
No.
If we switch over to Raw, we get Vince McMahon going mental, bigging up the Raw Bowl, while Doc Hendricks is kind of interviewing some simpletons outside. The Nacho Man and the Hucksters are here. Yeah? Yeah, did you get it? Got the Nacho Man and Huckster. Yeah, no one's laughing.
And Nacho Man, he didn't have one nacho with him at all.
I thought this. Why wasn't he eating nachos and covered in cheese? That's what I would have thought, rather than just look. Yeah, exactly. I was on that page. I'm like, why did you just look a mess?
He hadn't read your tweet, had he, Dave?
What one?
Change one letter of a wrestler and
he
thought this'll fuck him. This'll send him down. He'll
He'll
never wrestle again in this town. And a huckster is a huckster just like a con man or a grifter or someone who's just like a bit of a carny?
That's a bit better. That's better. That's better than Nacho Man.
I don't know. That's a guess. That's what I don't know.
I liked, was it Scheme Gene as well? We had
Scheme Gene, yeah.
Scheme Gene.
Yeah.
Billionaire Ted.
Talk shit about Mean Gene. Anyone like Vince, whoever. So when I saw that, I was like, "You've gone too far, Vince."
I was waiting though for Scheme Gene, the Huckster, and Eric Dickhead. Is what I was just waiting for just to say. Just not even going to bother with Big Dickhead.
Eric Jerkoff.
Yeah, it's so bitter. Yeah.
We are taped from Newark, and fair play to them this week. They've actually put some effort into making the arena look big. They've got lighting. They've sort of put some effort in for a change. We've got a bit of pyro and stuff. So I was impressed with that. Your hosts are obviously Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler. Jerry says no one should miss out on the Raw Bowl, so he got tickets for Elvis. What? I didn't understand.
Tumbleweed. Just edit in a tumbleweed.
Plenty of them for your jokes normally, Sam, but didn't understand that at all.
You've got a few left.
I quite liked it. They've made the ring look like green, like an American football field and stuff. So they've gone all in on this. So we kick off with the Raw Bowl, which is the Smoking Guns versus Savio Vega. They've got all in.
They've painted it green. It's all in. We've gone all in, boys. Green. We've painted that ring.
We've gone all out. Pitch down, innit?
I will say though, I'm all for decorated canvases. I don't know why. When AEW first started, they had AEW printed
here we go.
In the ring, and they had the sponsors and stuff.
I
like it. I like that. I like when WCW had a logo. Why not put
and then the Young Bucks came out and they didn't. Yeah, it's a really good point, Sam.
I'm listening. I like
it. Yeah, because you two just love AEW, so
I'm gonna walk off in a minute like that guy on Nevermind the Buzzcocks when they started slagging his missus off.
Why don't you just
from the young boy?
Piers Morgan,
Piers Morgan. That happened this week.
Current.
You literally made a reference from 20 years ago when you could have won this.
We are watching wrestling from 20
years
ago, though.
I don't want. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how dare I make a retro reference? It was still 10 years after what we're talking about now.
You didn't know what Beyblades were, Sam. Come on, get with
Beyblade? I still don't know what they are.
Anyway, the Raw Bowl kicks off. We have the Smoking Guns versus the team of Savio Vega and Razor Ramon, which I thought was a bit of a weird pairing. We had Sid and the 1-2-3 Kid and Owen Hart and Yoko Ono. Goldust, he sends some flowers to Razor via an usher, but Razor beats this man up. He smashes the flowers in. I mean, poor sod was just delivering a parcel. You wouldn't do that to your Amazon delivery guy, would you? It's like...
Could you imagine as well if those flowers had that chain in that DDP gave to what's her face, and then he just twacked him. Oh God, yeah, could have been a nightmare.
It just seemed totally unnecessary, didn't it?
And say you wouldn't bash up your courier, Gaz would, if it was like an elite model Hogan, and then like a bit of a cellophane had a dent in it or something. The whole of Canvey Island Police Squad wouldn't be able to pull them off.
Police squad.
Do you have a police station on Canvey Island?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Is it just an old man and a dog? And he's just got.
They've got a sheriff. They've got a sheriff.
Yeah, and he goes round on a Shetland pony.
He's also the postman because
and the mayor.
So his dad.
Yeah,
and he
was the one that delivered it.
He owns the only driving school as well.
Damn right.
Everything.
Damn right.
We get a nice rundown of the rules for this match, which is it's an elimination tag team match. You can tag anyone in, but physical contact must be made before you tag out. So that will become important for a very brief spell, but not really important.
Can we talk about the numbers on their jerseys? I thought was quite a cool.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to talk about that. I have a gripe with the numbers.
Oh,
was it last week? You watched for I didn't know what they meant. What are these fucking symbols all about?
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
What was your gripe, Sam?
You watched the Yokozuna thing, which we came to conclusion was just clips off the cutting room floor, wasn't it? And they went, there you go, it's a Yoko thing. Oh, we really wanted Yoko to lose some weight. We were so concerned, and we did this. He comes out with 640. They're literally like, look how fat this guy is. It's
horrible.
3 digits, like.
And let's put him in a crop top as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see a bit of Yoko's under titties. And I know it's a bit sensitive, isn't it? It's obvious. He's a big guy. But it just is like, can you play both sides? Can you be outraged and upset and concerned for someone's weight? And then that's your mate. And then you go, oh, we're going Ibiza. Gaz is going to get, I don't know, fingers on the back, and someone's going to get this. And then you go, shove, mate. Why don't you just have 18 stone put on yours? Because that's what we know you for.
Fat, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be keeping an eye on you. No dominoes, you cheeky sod.
To be fair, though,
can't be both.
That's the Yoko documentary to a T, though, and it's like, he ate a lot, and I sort of said, you shouldn't eat as much, but then he carried on eating anyway.
Vince was just making all the right noises, so when Yoko eventually did die of being too fat, he could go, did you hear what I said the other day, though? I did say I was worried. It's what it is, isn't it? It's covering your back.
So you think they should have motivated him and put like 416 and tried to get him to lose the weight?
245.
You'll get down to that number.
I just think they should have been sincere when trying to save another man's life.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Did you get the other numbers? So there was Smoking Guns had 38 and 45, which are obviously
guns. Yeah,
guns.
I got that one.
Yeah. No, I didn't get that.
Owen had 1, which I can only assume is because his name's Owen. I don't know.
I just thought it meant his number.
I thought it was Welsh.
Wow, you've really
Welsh fans.
There's no way you can sustain this amount of effort for the whole show as much as you've looked into these numbers.
Oh no.
This is your bit.
What does Savio Vega have?
Uno, which is Spanish for 1. So they've doubled up on numbers.
Shit, yeah, they've thought of everything there, haven't they?
Razor Ramon had a 7, didn't he?
4. How many times he's won the IC title?
4, yeah.
Oh,
I remember that one.
Man.
That's how many fools he smoked. 4.
And then Sid had 2 zeros, which was... I've got no idea why.
He's crazy.
Because he's a psycho, yeah.
Well,
is that the quarterback number in America, though? Like, it's 00?
Come on, Gaz.
No, it can be 1 to like, normally it's single digits,
69.
but it's not a 0, no.
I just think it means a dangerous motherfucker. He gives 0 fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Twice.
that's right, yeah. There
That's
you go.
fair
I like that.
I don't
Who
give a
are-
fuck twice.
Do we have anyone else? That's everyone, isn't it? Well, what did 1, 2, 3? Must have had 1, 2, 3, didn't he?
Yeah. And then Kid.
Fucking didn't put any effort in, did he?
No, rubbish.
That was his weight, wasn't it? 123 pounds.
Grams.
It looks like he'd had 123 grams the way he was moving in the ring.
Yeah, it weren't a good night for them. The one thing I've noticed, even from the very get-go, is the football puns are endless tonight. And I had to kind of glaze over and almost drown out the sound because I don't watch American football. I've got no clue what they're talking about half the time. So it was like, I don't know what we're talking about, man. It was
As you
just
said,
too
though,
much.
they did go all in, didn't they? They had a marching band and a Royal Bowl Queen. And I mean, Jerry was in his element when he sitting there with her.
That
Sex
poor
pest.
girl.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
I bet all she could feel was just his hot breath on her. That
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time.
It's mullet
And I
touch,
bet-
you know.
And that
Was
mullet
it?
was horrible as well. It looked like someone had made a wig out of like hair.
a
You
doormat.
get out the bloody, no, like hair you get out the bloody plug holes, mate. Sort of-
Yeah. I bet all she could smell was
Sam's
Hot
beard.
Werther's original just coming down her neck.
And semen.
It's horrible, isn't it, to put her next to Jerry Lawler?
Imagine
It's
that.
just-
You got to spend the night there. She's fine. She's way too old for him, to be fair. So
It would be literally like sitting someone next to me in a pub and then going, "Oi, ask him if he's ever been on a cruise ship," and then just running out the room.
immediately Owen tags in Billy Guns. So we've got the smoking guns facing off. They hip toss each other, and then they tag in Owen and Yoko. So we get them facing off. There was zero reaction for the smoking guns getting tagged in to have to wrestle each other. And I just thought, if you've got to make physical contact, why don't you just high five each other and then
Exactly
go and
what I
tag
thought.
out? It's
Exactly what I
There's no
thought.
logic to it. Nothing says you have to fight each other. It's just got to be physical contact. They could have
Walk
fist
past,
bumped.
twist his nipple, and then go and
Yeah.
tag someone else in.
Do the
Little
guns
tickle.
at each other. Yeah,
Yes, you
exactly.
can do that. Yeah.
Just hug. Just hug.
Yeah, do
That
that.
would
Yeah.
fuck me right. If you twisted my nipple, though, guys, we'd be in a fight instant. I've got very sensitive nipples.
When you say fight, you mean just you sort of
I'll give you a
Pouring
winning
at me.
slap.
Just-
Go, that really hurt.
You two slapping each other. So
Yeah.
we've got Owen and Yoko in the ring, and Owen stalls. So Earl Hebner threatens to throw a delay of game flag. I'm assuming that's an American.
that's an NFL reference. Yep.
Yellow card,
But,
I'm guessing, maybe something like that.
Do they do
through
that?
the yellow.
Time wasting.
Yeah, that
It's
is
time
it,
wasting.
isn't it?
Time wait, fair enough.
Yeah.
But, 9 minutes in, this is when Jerry starts interviewing the Raw Bowl Queen, and my God, it just gets more and more awkward with him saying things to her. And bless her heart, she tries though, doesn't she? She
does,
pretends.
yeah.
She pretends she's interested. She looks like she cares, but she hasn't got a clue what's going on with this like sex pest just huffing and puffing next to her, isn't it? So
It's like podcasting with Sam, isn't it?
What are you looking at? Hey, Ashley, what do you think of the action so far?
This is crazy. I love it. It's wild.
Did you hear that, McMahon?
Yeah, I heard
He
you
said
better
she
watch.
loved me.
Yeah, she loves you. You better watch your illegal procedure.
What do you think of my jersey, huh?
Color. It's my favorite color. I love it. Number 2.
Your favorite number
Oh,
two?
yeah.
Back.
then we keep cutting back to Brother Love, who's in the dressing room.
And they keep
Yes.
speaking over him as well. Like
Yeah,
you don't even hear what he's saying.
Well, I'm glad of that, to be fair, because I can't fucking stand him.
Who's he talking to in the?
He's
in
got his
the
eyes shut
locker
and he
room?
thinks they're all in there and he's giving them a bit of a motivational speech.
Oh.
That's the gag.
Is that the gag?
That's the gag, yeah.
But they keep saying that there's no one there. Oh, I'm overthinking this. Why am I
Yeah,
thinking
are.
about
it's
logic?
just
Sorry.
move
This is
on,
Vince and
dude.
Jerry going, whoa, what's going to be funny? We'll have him in the locker room with his eyes shut, pretending they're all still there and they're actually not there. Whee.
Yes, that's
But
funny.
he has his eyes shut for the entire time. So he's just walking around with his eyes shut in the locker room.
25
Remember,
minutes.
like when we
Should never do that, I tell you. I remember being at school. Whee.
close your eyes, guys.
The 1, 2, 3 kid, he calls a timeout. And so the referee says that Razor's got to stop beating him up, but the Razor just does the Razor's Edge anyway. And then Earl Hebner starts shouting at Ted DiBiase on the outside. Sid comes in and hits a shitty clothesline on the back of Razor. And then he just sort of rolls the 1, 2, 3 kid on top of him 10 minutes exactly to eliminate Razor and Savio.
What is
So-
it about a multi-man match that you can always just get eliminated by the shittest move? They do it all
Yeah.
the time.
Thank
If you're
you.
a multi-man, you can't take a scoop slam. You can't take any damage because you're gone.
Well, the worst part as well is like Razor was right next to the referee, so where he like would have normally taken a bump, he would have fallen forward and hit the ref.
Yeah.
Instead, he had to sort of just roll to the side like he was like a cow falling over in a field. It's like I don't think a Psycho Sid clothesline to the back of the like shoulder is going to kill you, is it? I don't know. Owen goes up and misses a flying splash, and then the referee gets distracted again. So Yoko goes up for the bonsai drop on Billy. But somehow or other, Owen kind of gets pulled in and Yoko bonsai drops him and Billy Gunn gets the pin at 16 minutes to eliminate them. What a ridiculous, stupid spot.
I liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fucking brilliant. It's so stupid.
I thought it worked well. I thought it was quite seamless. The way that they dragged his feet under and then he was just underneath Yoko.
Yeah.
He's not going to look what he's sitting on, is he?
He don't care
that
what he's
was
sitting on,
pretty
is he?
smooth.
He does not care.
If he did
I'm not going to look at what he's sitting on. I'm just going to sit. Don't know what's
I'm
behind
going
me.
down,
Just
lads.
sitting. Yeah. He's a child.
Jeff Hardy, Jobber, Owen Hart, who cares?
He
Sam,
was quite
you must have
safe though, wasn't he? When he dropped
With
on
that
him,
one?
he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course he fucking was. Yeah,
He was helping
Owen
Owen.
Hart. Yeah. Yeah.
You must have been fuming, Sam. This must have been everything you hate about
No.
wrestling in one spot.
As Gigi said, I mean, yeah, I didn't like any of the match, really, particularly very like little moments. But yeah, the Owen bit was really sort of what we, that was
It's
the
what-
cherry on the shitty cake, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's-
That worked well. It was done, like you said. It was what we needed.
It's
and
what
was
you
done,
want from-
it was a silly spot, but it was done well. So what can you say?
It's what you want from that silly team. You've got silly Owen Hart getting squashed by a big old Yokozuna. It's the moment you want in it. So, yeah. So we are down to Sid and the Kid versus the Smoking Guns. As Billy takes a beating from Sid and he gets clotheslined and knocked about. We get some chin locks and he walks into a big boot from Sid. Billy tries to fight back with a cradle, but then Sid just beats him down with some terrible punches to get controlled again, and he chokeslams in. Instead of going for a cover after this, he sends Kid to the top, but the Kid gets pushed off by Razor Ramon, and Billy rolls up Sid for the win at 2 minutes and 39 seconds to win the prestigious Raw Bowl. You're going to hate me, I liked this. I thought for a 20-minute match, other than Jerry and Vince doing endless puns about American football, which I didn't understand, I thought there's a lot of teams in there that I like. There's a lot of people I know. I kind of enjoyed it.
Sorry, what teams did you like in there, Dave?
I like the Smoking Guns. I like Owen.
No, you don't like the Smoking.
I like the Smoking Guns. I like Owen
Two
and Yoko.
cowboys in crop tops. Is what you like.
Smoking Mouse.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Skinny jeans, cowboy boots, crop tops, and
Yeah.
you're in.
All my favourite things there. I thought it was good. I thought for a 20-minute match, I thought it didn't drag that much. I thought it was all right.
It was quite a quick watch. It didn't seem to drag. No, you're right, but it was quite convoluted at times. I don't know why there was timeouts and all the rules. I thought it was a bit over the top. Didn't need all of that. I like the fact they've tried to do something different. They've gone into 96 and thought we've got to do something different, but it doesn't mean different's going to work. Because how many more Raw Bowls did they do going forward after this one?
Well, when you've hit gold, you're never going to get. You're never going to hit those many nights again,
then, shouldn't we?
So. What's the point? I thought it was good.
The problem is for me now, when Raw goes on, instantly everything just goes like, and I'm like, no, come on, just like look at it through new eyes, try and find something good in it. But in that match, it was just all the fucking like. I think there's a lot of language I didn't understand.
But you had loads of people that are coming in and out. You're seeing different. You're too fussy, Sam.
There weren't loads of people in the Regal Benoit match, was there? If it had 7 more guys in there, do you think it'd have been better?
If it'd been on Raw, probably, yeah.
Depends who they were. Depends who the
Dressed
7
up in
if they were
netball
Smoking
outfits.
Guns, yeah. White
if it was a bunch of mid-carders, it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I liked Owen Hart in it. Love
Yeah,
Owen
that's
Hart.
what I was
He's my
gonna say.
MVP, I think, so
Yeah,
far
definitely.
for last year and going into this year so far. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Owen Hart's good in anything, really, isn't he?
And even
But,
I know
like-
you said about the like the silly making contact with your partner rule. It did set up just seeing Owen how good he could work around Yoko if they needed to. Like I would have loved to have seen that match.
Yeah.
We hear from Vince McMahon that next week Shawn Michaels is holding a press conference, so who knows what that'll be. But Jerry says his sources say HBK is retiring, so that's it. The end of Shawn Michaels as we know it. If we switch to Nitro, we have Lord Steven Regal versus Chris Benoit, and at 13 minutes in, Eric Bischoff says,
And this is where the biggest
Does that count? As a
No.
Well, they are big, aren't they? The biggest boy.
The biggest boys, yeah. And this is also the point where Eric tells us about the Raw Bowl and it's nonsense and Smoking Guns have won it and don't go and watch that. So that's it. Benoit's looking amazing when he comes out. He's looking legit as anything you can imagine, really, and he just looks amazing. They fight over a knuckle lock to start with, and Regal throws some forearms and grabs a chin lock, and they do a nice little wrestling sequence that ends with Benoit hitting a suplex for a 2 count. But 16 minutes in, we see some baseball man. I don't know anything about baseball either. He's in the crowd, and Eric tells us...
And I'll tell you what, he knows where the big boys play.
Does that count?
No.
It's
No.
not.
He's pretty much in the front row. If he doesn't know where the big boys play by this point, then you'd need to be pretty worried, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's
Literally
there
in the arena with the big boys,
playing.
feet away from him, while they're playing. Yeah, he's only not got to put a lot together, has he? Hang on. I think this is where the big boys play, you know?
We do get quite a sad thing, though, where they start talking about Paul Orndorff needing surgery, and Mongo says...
Just a little surgery never hurt anybody. He'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, take it from somebody who's been there, what, three dozen times? Oh, at least.
I've had 3 dozen, he says. I've had 3 dozen or something.
Paul Orndorff was out for 156 weeks. He was out for 3 years he didn't wrestle for. Like, Jesus, man. This isn't a 2-week surgery. The dude came back for like 2 matches and had to retire. So, yeah, a little bit shitty there. But they fight over a suplex and Regal gets the butterfly suplex for a 2 count before Benoit clotheslines him down. Regal fights to the top, but Benoit takes him down with an electric chair, which is an insane move. He then misses a flying headbutt as well from the top, Benoit does. They fight over a tombstone, which was amazing, and Benoit spikes Regal on the floor with like no hands, holding on. Absolutely insane looking move. Regal rolls out of the ring. This is when Benoit then does an over-the-top like tope suicida, isn't it, if we're watching AEW, and just lands directly on the concrete. Regal rolls him into the ring for the pin at 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I thought this was an incredibly stiff match, and Benoit's taking some insane, like really hard to watch spots, because we know what happens with Benoit, and watching him throw himself onto the concrete floor just over the top rope is like, oh. The one thing I will say is I wanted to love this match, and I really liked it, but I wanted to love it a bit more because it was Benoit and Regal, and it didn't quite get me there. But I thought it was a really good match.
What you sort of know you should be.
Yeah.
As a wrestling fan of this age, of this era, like I should be creaming over this. But did anyone think that maybe the ending was cut short? Or
Yeah,
I
think it was.
I don't know whether
the ending though.
I liked it absolutely. Yeah, I just felt like, did he actually fucking knock himself for 6?
It fucking looked it, to be fair.
Well, it added that bit of realism in, didn't it? That we keep talking about they're not having on the other channel. This looked like he's actually full on his face. Regal's rolled him in and pinned him.
Yeah.
He didn't take the count out.
I will say, though, going back to what you said about Benoit coming out, I thought Regal in this looks like a proper badass. Like, would actually punch you in the face for realsies. There was a bit where he was headbutting Benoit when they were like, locked up in some kind of grapple, and he was headbutting him. And I think, Jesus Christ, he looked really stiff, but
Even when they were perched on the top rope, they were even like landing quite hard shots on each other.
Yeah, they weren't mucking about.
These are the 2 guys. They know, don't they? You know what a Regal's about. You know what a Benoit's about. You're not working with someone you've got to throw little powder puff shots on. You know, you're not working with Hogan, and they enjoy it. You know
what?
If we switch over to Raw, we get Doc Hendricks giving us a half-time report, and he says it's not going to be a big long one. He's giving us a 2-minute timer, so he's telling us we've got Diesel versus Mabel coming up. Jumbo Ross is outside the men's locker room. Can we speak to Big Daddy Cool? No, he can't.
Yeah, he did violate him with that, didn't he?
Jumbo Ross, you know, it's Jim fucking Ross. Like, respect the man.
It's Vince again, isn't it?
This is funny.
Cowboy hat. Yeah, Eddie.
Bret the Hitman Hart against the phenom of the World Wrestling Federation, The Undertaker. Bret with his championship offense, much like that of the Cornhuskers, going up against the quick striking offense of The Undertaker, much like that of the Gators.
Here we're going to get Jeff Jarrett versus Ahmed Johnson, all stemming from Double J hitting him with a gold record in your house. We get some more football puns kind of explaining how the Rumble works. Again, I kind of glazed over and ignored this because it's like, don't give a shit. And we come back to Vince hyping that they're going to have a new wrestler signed for the Royal Rumble. We'll hear about that later. So,
All right, King, when you hear the bombshell, when you hear who has
a sign to be in the WWF Royal Rumble. He's never been in the World Wrestling Federation ever before. What an athlete. Who is it?
Pretty much a nothing segment from Doc Hendricks. Nothing exciting
Is it
going
Christian
on there.
Cage?
It's Hall of Fame worthy.
I will say that with Doc, he might get some shitty segments, but in Half Go Gun Ho in it, he's really full on. He's so excited, isn't he? Bless his little
Fuck's
heart.
sake, Gaz. When you listening last week, he cut his mullet off for this job.
Exactly.
This is fucking like shit or bust. He ain't
I think
got
he's
the
just
mullet
happy to
no
be
more.
there.
He can't go back to being a free bird.
I've gone all in on this shit, so that's it.
I've got to give it
Decent
everything.
tash as well. Decent
That's
tash.
a lovely tash, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your
that's a
favourite
strong
tashes in wrestling? Can we...
I like Jake Roberts. I like Jake
Rick
Roberts'
Rude's
tash.
got to be number one for me. Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah,
I
Roberts
like-
has a nice tash.
I like Cody Rhodes when he was dashing. Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that was a good tash. But the whole gimmick revolved kind of around that tash, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was like that tash. was a
gimmick tash.
caricature
I mean, the
of
thing is, it's
itself.
really a bit of a moot point because Hogan's tash is just
I didn't
Like
even
on-
thought. I didn't even give that a
Yeah.
thought.
in the Mount Rushmore of tashes.
Gotta
Because as
be
soon as it
top
goes,
five,
there goes his strength and his power. He's like Samson of the
Yeah,
tash,
it's
blah, blah,
true.
blah.
Two
But you see it.
problems there, Gaz. One, it's a blonde tash.
Mute him, Dave. Mute him.
And
A
it
blonde
goes round.
tash
I've
will
tried
will
for
never
6
stand
months.
up to a good dark tash. Two, it's a gimmick tash because it's a Fu Manchu, isn't it? So does it go
Yeah.
in just the normal tash category?
Yes.
It's
Split
kind of a
head.
What would you call it then?
it's a different pedigree. Well, it's a Fu Manchu. It's a different
Which is a type
pedigree of
of
tash. It's a
tash.
type of tash.
It's-
Yeah.
I would still say it's
Fucking
hell.
facial hair above the top lip, isn't it?
What's your favourite tash, Sam? Hitler's?
After Rick Rude,
Just
yes.
mention
And then
nonsense.
my
Don't
third
mention the
favourite
war.
tash
Just not
is your
nonsense.
mum's.
Sorry, Charlie Chaplin's.
If we switch to Nitro, we have Mean Gene in the ring with the Four Horsemen, and he says,
Happy New Year, everybody. Maybe a little too much of the bubbly for Chris Benoit last evening. This was a great performance, but not good enough. Flying Brian Pillman.
What the hell are you guys thinking? Just 5 days after the symbol of excellence sees the reins of power and the world title, we're 0-2? Chris, you were handpicked. You're one of the chosen ones. You're here to win and dominate, not languish in mediocrity.
A little dissension here in the ranks. Chris Benoit, you take a tongue lashing from one of your fellow Four Horsemen.
Brian, the only way any wrestler can beat me is by sheer luck. That is the only thing Steve Regal had going for himself tonight. My record as a horseman more than proves myself. I've been pulling my weight, Brian.
Yeah, Chris, you're holding your own. When the stretch limo pulls up, Dom Perignon's flowing, and we're surrounded by naked women. But that's only one half of our job description in AA. Getting beat by a move right out of the Horseman playbook.
What is this here, Arn?
What about the hit list? Hogan, Savage, and the Dungeon of Misfit Toys.
Arn Anderson, we're running short on time. I really want to get your comments.
Number one, Pillman, I'm not used to looking at the back of people's heads, but it goes like this. You understand, you've been running around starting fires and starting wars that we don't need to fight. Our job is to protect that world title. Unless there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, quit starting the fires. Orndorff, Paul Orndorff, went too far. It should have never went that far. Now you want to jump on Sullivan and the Dungeon of Doom? What is there to achieve? There's nothing to achieve. We perish, we prosper together as a unit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Gentlemen, I'm sorry I'm going to have to cut you short here, Brian Pillman. We are out of time. Still to come on Nitro, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair.
Well, there you guys going. There comes the J. Bring him on in, boys.
I thought, Pillman was great. Benoit's a bit wooden, but you kind of expected that. It was just a bit let down when you've got Kevin Sullivan and the Giant and Jimmy Hart. It's like, we don't need that because these horsemen are doing good stuff.
Can you think of any segment ever which is going to be made better by then Kevin Sullivan and Dungeon of Doom coming out? Like if someone's like, oh, this is missing something. What should we do? Let's get a 4'5" man in a dressing gown, with fucking eyebrows painted on his forehead to come out.
Emily.
I liked Pillman in this, though, with his leather duster on. looking quite badass, wasn't he? And also, this was part of him doing his pretending to get fired gimmick. You know, the bit we was talking about Benoit in the limos. He was trying to sort of get that bit over, and he's building on that. But yeah, it was great. Arn Anderson was great as well in this.
Yeah, it totally won for me. I think that.
Yeah. But then Zodiac comes out, and you go, "Fucking hell, Zodiac!"
It's just that I don't know why
Zodiac was shouting hurt.
No, that's the end. That's the end. That's how we end.
Sorry,
it was later. Yeah.
You literally spoilers there, mate. We have Lex Luger and Sting tagging up now against the Super Assassins. And does anyone know who the Super Assassins are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sam? Everyone does. We've got Warlord and Barbarian.
Crazy.
Kamala and
Earthquake.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't have that.
Oh. Who did you have?
I had Mr. JL and Rey Mysterio.
Legitimately,
Terry
when they
Funk.
first come out, I thought it was Ron Simmons. I don't know why, because they used to do that.
I thought it was Doom. Yeah, Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. That's who I thought.
Then as they came out, the light, and I was like, "Oh, hang on, no, these aren't African Americans." And Barbarian and Warlord. I had to Google it though, to be fair.
Oh yeah, I
didn't just know it.
them. Yeah, I'm not a Warlord.
No, they had masks on, Dave.
Yeah, I noticed. I watched it.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, body types.
Recognise that butt anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Warlord's biceps like the back of your hand.
You couldn't figure it out, and then you saw the back of him, and you went, "Oh yeah, that's my boy."
Seen that.
Yeah.
25 minutes in, Mongo mentioned the little old lady who said, "Where's the beef?" again. He said this in like the first episode, didn't he, or something, or the second episode of Nitro. He talks about little old ladies a lot.
Didn't he say something about get your grandma out the bath once or something?
Yeah, he used to talk about grandmas a lot, didn't he?
That's like some major heavyweight action. Little old lady in the commercial. Where's the beef?
Can we talk about Sting's jacket?
Oh,
How amazing
beauty, wasn't it?
Sting look. It was like orange and yellow, sparkly, like lattice pattern, and black tassels. He literally has everything, doesn't it? It was amazing.
Yeah.
What a pop as well for Sting when he comes out.
Yeah,
The crowd.
They don't fuck about. They love him, don't they?
Mm.
And we get Sergeant Craig Pittman. He tries to convince Mongo to be his manager, but Mongo's having none of it. He just gives him a bit of advice. Pittman screams Roger that, and it's just rubbish, isn't it?
I felt like Pittman was holding back tears when he second week in a row now he's misguidedly trying to be recruited from like somewhere where they're not offering this service, and he just went, "Yeah, all right, Roger that," and just walked away, didn't he?
Of course, bruv. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, mate, I just wanted to ask. I don't care. And I don't really need it. And then just went and punched the wall. Fuck it.
I think Eric's been more sad because he's the last one to get asked, isn't he? Then he's going to come back next week. I don't know. No, we're going to ask you, Eric. Sorry, mate.
If you'd asked me first, then I would have done.
Said yes. Yeah.
I heard that Craig Pittman sent a
phone call
to Eric Bischoff's house and flew him to his barracks and said, "I've got this idea. I want you to be my manager, and I want you to wear a little camo vest." And Bischoff just said, "No, fuck that."
Number of people meeting at Bischoff's house is ridiculous. The Super Assassins did hit a pretty cool suplex top rope spear move, which I thought was pretty boss for them. The Assassins cut the ring off for a bit with Sting, fights them off. We get the hot tag to Luger, who finishes the Barbarian off with the torture rack after 5 minutes and 47 seconds, and Sting puts the Warlord in the Scorpion Deathlock. I thought to end the match, to have them both in their signature moves was a pretty cool ending to a largely forgettable match. I like seeing Sting. I don't like seeing Lex Luger. So,
when you say Lex Luger, you mean Lex Loser, don't you?
Sticking with that one now, yeah?
I'm going to stick with that one, yeah.
Fair enough. What was your thoughts
on this show, guys?
GG, what's your thoughts on this match? Was it a cracker?
Oh, I thought it was all right. Did you know that Assassin, because I thought the name Assassin, it just sounds like someone smaller in stature to me. An assassin means a person who murders an important person for political or religious reasons.
All right, yeah, that makes
sense. What's their motivation here?
Bit dark for wrestling, isn't it? That is.
What's the motivation? What do they want?
Because you only hear the word assassination referred to. Do you know what I mean? If one of us was to get murdered, like, oh, what happened to Dave? Oh, he got assassinated. Like, no, because he's not got. You're not the head of like a political party yet, are you? But yeah, I always wondered, never thought why they say assassinate in some situation.
What I can't get though with them is for WCW, they can be very forward thinking in some of their storylines and characters, but then you've got these guys come out, the super assassins with masks on, and just it's throwback to like 91, 92, isn't it?
Why did they feel the need to cover them up so much? They are like Warlord, and I mean, they're not the most famous wrestlers, but surely you'd get a little bit of a pop out of them.
They're from the WWF heyday, aren't they? Which is what WCW like.
They're legit as well. They can wrestle. They've both got.
I think it's because what were they were called? The Powers of Pain, weren't they? Dungeon of Doom, Powers of Pain. I don't know. Was there just too much sort of? Don't know, but for whatever reason, they thought, these two really recognisable guys, let's cover them up with T-shirts and put masks on them. But
no one will ever know. Yeah, it's we just want to see Sting, though, don't we? We don't care about the Super System. If we switch over to Raw, we get the hog pen match between Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Henry O. Godwin from In Your House. Our special guest referee for this one is Hillbilly Jim, because Vince McMahon loves hillbillies for some reason. And the object of this match was to throw your opponent into a pig pen, which was on the other side of the arena, and they start the match in the ring. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. We get Hunter Hearst Helmsley getting tied up in the ropes, and he gets slop rubbed in his mouth during this one. So
but Richard, you're skipping over the front row being slopped.
Yeah, the front row got slopped as well.
And someone took a terrible fall after that. I don't know if you saw it. It was just out of shot.
Is it Benoit?
I don't know. Oh, don't. But no, someone, as soon as the slop happened, you see Triple H on the floor, and then just out of shot, someone takes a terrible slip.
Go worse than that, guys. Hang on,
Stephanie McMahon.
Was it?
That's getting cut out.
Once it came in my head, it had to be said. I'm sorry.
No one can say it. You can't cuss out wrestling podcasts. That's like the unwritten rules. So.
Take it back.
I'll edit that out.
I'm sorry, I take it. Yeah. So whoever said that, take it back.
Yeah.
I take it back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry. You won't be invited back. Well, he might be, but you won't want to come back.
No one ever does.
Not if there's slander.
Again, this match here has got Vince McMahon written all over it, isn't it?
100%. Yeah.
And how are we supposed to believe that Hillbilly Jim's going to be impartial here? It would be like if we had this exact match and they go, and for the referee, it's Jeeves the Butler. Like, we'd all be like, hang on, there's something going on here.
But what
he's going to stick with Godwin because he had both got dungarees on. Men in dungarees always stick together in my experience.
Never come across that many.
There's a lot where I live.
Yeah. So,
if you ain't got dungarees, then fucking people look at you.
This had Vince McMahon fingerprints all over it. He keeps telling us that Triple H is going to regurgitate in front of us and things like that. Just basically, someone's going to be sick. It's going to, yeah, isn't it? So they sort of battle around. We get over to the hog pen. Triple H tries to pedigree him into the hog pen. How is that ever going to work? But he gets backdropped onto the pen, but Triple H managed to sort of land on the fence, and it was that's the bit where he cuts his back, isn't it? On that one,
yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, was that where it was? I didn't know if it was whether it was into the gate after.
Oh, I thought it was.
I thought it was on the top bit as well. Yeah, maybe I missed that.
The widest fence in the world that was about like 8 feet wide, so he didn't fall off it. For some reason, they then fight back to the ring again, which was kind of weird. But we get a break, and then they're back in the hog pen again. And when we go to the break, this is where we start seeing the bonus footage of the Huckster and Nacho Man, don't we, during these breaks? And they've not really introduced what's going on there, but I'm pretty sure these crazy characters, it's Huckster and Nacho Man. Yeah? No one's laughing yet. But
I don't get it, though.
You've probably not understanding the jokes.
It's too highbrow for us, isn't it, to be honest with you?
That's it.
Yeah.
The part you mentioned where they get right to the hog pen, then fight their way back to the ring. Reminds me of when you're watching a cage match and it's escape to win, and the guy is on the outside of a cage hanging like this, and by his opponent leaning over and hitting him and sort of just pulling his head around causes him to sort of come all the way back up, and like he's punched him back, like just let go, mate. I was sort of watching that. I was like, you're going the wrong way. This match needs to end.
I didn't mind it as a tease, though. I thought it was just a tease to get
the hog pen.
Yeah, I found it quite entertaining, to be fair, and it made me kind of think. a lot of people are quite down on Triple H, and I get it. I do kind of see it, but personally, I'm kind of a Triple H fan. I think, I'm going to say I'm a Triple H fan, and it made me think. People who say he never gives opportunities and he crushes people's careers and that. So he was in this slop match, wasn't he? I've written it down somewhere, all these unfortunate things. He got squashed by Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania. He's got the worst WrestleMania win-loss record out of any superstar, 13 losses, 10 wins. He was the only person who got punished for the curtain call, basically missing out on his big push where he should have won King of the Ring. So when you get guys who go, I was in the company for 18 months and Hunter held me back, so I went off back to Ring of Honor, you kind of think he wasn't given an easy gimmick. He wasn't just sort of pushed straight to the top, was he? It just made me sort of be like, come on. Hunter's earned his stripes.
I was going to say, when you watch this feud, I mean, this match alone, he gets a load of slop shoved in his mouth. I mean, a few months ago, we watched him literally pratfall in a load of slop running around the ring. And, he did put the effort in to make himself look a dickhead.
I wonder how much Vince laughed his ass off seeing Hunter get slopped in the mouth. And then a few years later, he's kissing his daughter with that mouth. It all backfired.
And he's slopping in her mouth.
Oh my God. Never put slop in another man's mouth because you don't know where his mouth's going to end up later down the line.
Never a truer word spoken, Sam.
Yeah, never slop in another man's mouth. Yeah.
Or in another man's daughter.
Yeah.
It's all right to slop in another man's daughter. I mean, not if you're married or, small print, blah, 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 blah. But someone's going to slop inevitably in someone's daughter.
Anyway, eventually, Henry O'Godwin hits the slop drop and he charges towards Triple H, but he gets dumped into the hog pin and Triple H wins after 11 minutes and 46 seconds. Did you hear one of the big jokes on commentary, though, about the pigs? One of the pigs was called Terry Hogan.
Oh my God!
Oh, I thought it was a dig at Terry Runnels.
So that's it. That's some more big jokes. I'm not a huge fan of them repurposing pay-per-view matches on Raw. I think it's a bit of a cop-out.
I found that the most entertaining part of Raw, though. That match.
Did you?
To be honest, yeah. I must have been distracted momentarily because all of a sudden I was like, "Fuck!" They're doing a hog pen match on Raw, and then it's sort of a little logo come up as a recap, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, so the most entertaining part of Raw was something that wasn't even from Raw.
Yeah. So they have nothing to fill this show then? Because obviously coming up, there's a very short match. And then you had the 20-minute NFL touchdown, fumble, end zone, offside, O-line, match of doom.
Is this more them trying to sell their pay-per-views of like, if you watch our pay-per-views, this is what you'll get? And this is also a way of putting some stars on the show, because we've watched so many weeks of Raw now where they have absolutely zero star power. And I'm not saying Triple H and Henry Godwin are like top-level stars, but it's two recognisable names that we're actually watching for a change. So I thought for a Raw, this was like more stacked with names than we're ever used to.
The remedy to that, Dave, is just put more stars on Raw, not necessarily let's just play a match from the last pay-per-view. Just
I don't
put
think
matches on.
I don't think Vince wants to give that away yet. He's not going to go and give you a Hogan versus Flair. He's not going to put Triple H. He's not going to put Diesel against Shawn Michaels on free TV.
Yeah, we've said it.
It goes against everything he wants to do.
The WWF formula is the TV show is an advert for the live show, isn't it? Don't give anything away. And he's, as much as someone said, we need to do this show and it's live and it's going to have all your top stars, he's a bit not really like going with it at the moment yet. He's not.
Do you know what? They probably need to do more of that style now, to be honest, because I mentioned it recently. If two people are in a feud on Raw or SmackDown, it's, you see them face each other every single week, whereas before you wouldn't really see them get to each other before the pay-per-view. So could take some of that from and use it now really and benefit from it.
You're absolutely right, and that's a lot of why pay-per-views don't feel so much like pay-per-views anymore, do they? At first we got one every month. Yeah. Also, the weekly show is the same length as the pay-per-view. Like, think how different pay-per-view. You're right there.
Went down the wrong hole.
He's got a mouthful of slop.
Oh my god, he's going to regurgitate.
I think he
He's
just
gonna-
leant down and took a big old hit from a bong, didn't he?
Not everyone's you, Sam.
I can't smoke weed.
Pussy.
If we switch over to Nitro, we get Mean Gene out again, and he's expecting Jimmy Hart and the Giant. Jimmy says,
You know, Mean Gene, are you really that short? Or are you standing in the hole? Stop it.
they're the same height.
I'd say they're about the same height, aren't they?
Yeah, I wrote this down. He's making
Fucking
short
moron.
jokes at a man who is literally a quarter of an inch shorter than him, like barely just. It's like me
Ridiculous.
finding someone and going, "Oh, you skinny little bastard! What do you weigh? 12 and a half? Oh, like, no, fuck off, mate."
Let me tell you something, baby. When I was flying around the world with the immortal Hulk Hogan, at least I realized one important thing. He said, Jimmy Hart, always keep your enemies close to you so you can always keep an eye on them. Shame on you, Hulk. You should have kept an eye on Jimmy Hart. And also, he said, always be able to switch gears anytime, any place, anywhere. And that's what Jimmy Hart's doing here in the WCW. I'm switching gears. One night you might see me with Ric Flair. One night you might see me with Kevin Sullivan in the Dungeon of Doom. Or like tonight, I'm with a 7'4" John, because I'm always going to be around winners, baby.
All right, Giant, I guess Hulk Hogan has taken over for Bobby Knight in the chair department, as you know.
Hogan, time after time, you've hurt me emotionally, spiritually, and then when I had Randy Savage beat, you came in with a chair and hit me and hurt me. And Hogan, your time is coming. Every dog has his day. My night is tonight. You will get yours like you never got it before.
It's not a great promo, but I quite like hearing the Giant shout. I think I like a bit of
But
Paul
even
White
Mean
shouting.
Gene, even Mean Gene no sells it and just says, "I have no idea what he says, but this bit out to do this." And it's like, oh,
I love
great.
that line. That was so good. I don't know what he's saying.
Mean Gene,
I love
though.
it even more.
But look at the size of him.
Yeah.
I understood everything the Giant said. Like, he was clearly just shouting a bit.
Just
and then Mean
angry.
Gene was like, "Oh, I don't fucking know."
That's because he's so short. He just shouted over the top of his head.
It's
You can hear it.
literally gone over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of the racist skit out of
Oh god, here we go.
Little Britain, where he'd say, and he'd go, "What did he say?" He was like, because he's a giant and he's shouting. He was like, "Oh, I don't know." Like,
Something about Jolly Green and corn. I don't know what it was. A beanstalk
climbing
was
a,
mentioned.
climbing a beanstalk. Yeah, magic
You
bean.
know.
He's
Andre. He
five
said
foot
Andre a couple of times.
Yeah.
He's giantist. That's fucking Mean Gene's problem.
At this time, Dave Meltzer was really unhappy in the Wrestling Observer that they're trying to portray him as Andre the Giant's son. He thinks it's really, really tasteless and stupid that people would believe that. So Meltzer isn't a fan of all this at the moment. So
I'm not a fan of that. The Andre angle
stupid.
with him being his
Doesn't
dad.
make sense.
No, not at all.
Well, this is going to shock you guys. Do you know Brutus the Barber Beefcake wasn't a real barber? He hadn't
Hold on
even
a minute.
trained.
Well. He had a shop.
No.
He had a barber
Yeah, it was
shop.
pretend. Apparently
Hey,
it
man,
wasn't real.
No.
does your barber not use shears, Sam?
I don't know.
Mine does.
I don't have a barber, do I? Apparently, after Shawn Michaels threw Jannetty through his window, he didn't have the right insurance, so he had to close down.
If we switch back over to Raw, we get a recap of Brett and Bulldog from In Your House, which is a pretty decent match, actually. And they're going to show it next week on Raw. So, still not sure if I'm so happy about that. But it is. I've watched this, so I'm like already ahead of the game. It's a pretty good match. So, this goes back to, are they just giving away decent matches for us to watch? I don't know. What do we think?
Well, it's what I'd like. Have some decent matches
You'll
to
get
watch.
some good wrestling,
But
wouldn't you?
they're going in the right direction. It's just how they're going about it, isn't it?
I'd like them to start showing like 92 SummerSlam. Just we'll throw that one in again. Just whatever. 87 WrestleMania main event.
Here's a hidden gem from the vault.
Yeah,
You might not have
exactly.
heard about this. Bret Hart and British Bulldog actually had a match at Wembley in front of a small, intimate crowd of 90,000. Wasn't
No.
really, publicised at the time.
No one remembers it. It's not that they mention it very often, but.
No,
But you talk about having decent matches. We have got Diesel versus King Mabel, and poor old Jeff Hardy is a throne bearer for Mabel.
What?
And Jesus
can't
Christ, you can
believe
see
they-
why he's got a painkiller addiction, can't you? Having to lug that man around. Fucking hell. So.
It's crazy that they actually zoomed into his face. It's like they knew we were going to talk about it.
Yes.
It's because he looked like he was
Jeff Hardy's there,
in
by the
so
way.
much pain, that geezer. He looked like he was proper fucking carrying him around. It really hurt his back.
I think
legit
what it
would,
is
though.
is
It's huge.
the cameraman was like, wasn't that bloke in a match last week? And he's like getting a good look at him. He's like, I think he was.
I mean, poor old Jeff, last week he's being sat on by Yoko, and this week he's got a lug fucking Mabel around on his shoulder.
Well,
poor
we were
bastard,
talking about
so.
King of the Ring where they open the doors at King of the Ring, don't they? I think maybe that. And isn't there a clip going around where, is it Warrior? Someone comes out in King of the Ring and pushes the doors open and it knocks both the Hardys flying.
I haven't seen it.
No, I'll find it. I'll stick it on Twitter.
I'll stick it on the episode, Sam. It'll be
Stick it on the episode, Dave.
It's YouTube for
Oh,
it's the
that
beauty
was
of YouTube.
wicked, what we just saw.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Just
yeah.
go. Oh.
Oh, yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? I really hope that footage don't exist now, and I just fucking dreamt it up one day.
We get Diesel coming out, and he's high-fiving all the black glove people. He's living his gimmick here, brother, isn't he? He's loving that. We get a bit more sex pest Jerry talking to the poor old bowl queen. Diesel attacks Big Boot, pins him 10 seconds. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Mo comes in, he gets a jackknife for his troubles, and yeah.
Why did he
that's
start
it.
attacking Mo? I'm not putting up with that stuff. Mo did nothing. He did nothing wrong.
Nah,
We've got a
Mo's
chip
okay.
on his shoulder, hasn't he, Nash?
Out of order.
Attack anyone, wouldn't he? What, it's-
Not Mo.
Yeah, he weren't wearing a black glove. He's just gonna do him.
You
That's
didn't
what it
buy
is.
my merch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or he was
Mo's
wearing
like,
a
I've
black
got the
glove. And
t-shirt on.
he looked a bit closer.
not the glove,
and saw that
though.
it was a slide. Yeah.
One from China that you got off eBay, and you're like, it's not legit. So. We get a load of pyro going off. Jerry Lawler starts shouting at Diesel. Oh, he wants to talk to him. So Diesel comes over. He goes to shake Jerry's hand. He does the old fake thing. And then lo and behold, he only takes Ashley, the Raw Bowl Queen, with him to the back. And Vince McMahon squeals in delight. Diesel is leaving with the goods.
No way! Cool Diesel! Leaving with the goods!
That's a woman. That's a human woman, Dave. You just called the goods.
That was Vince McMahon's words,
In
not mine.
2021, that's disgusting.
I would have called her sweet cheeks, not the goods. So
Yeah, I was going to go with sugar tits, actually.
I am
He's left with that bit of skirt. Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
That bird.
Minge-tastic. So
Oh.
yeah, I thought it was epic. I thought it was brilliant. 10 seconds, beat Mabel. I don't give a toss about Mabel. I like seeing Mo get jackknife, and then he goes off with some hot chick. I mean, what a
I liked it. He
badass.
didn't even have to communicate using actual fucking words, did he? He just leant over
Sam,
and she was just pulled into his orbit.
Sam, she has spent the last half an hour sat next to Jerry the fucking King Lawler.
You're right.
Any
Yeah.
excuse.
Honestly,
Anyone could have
if
come
I'd
along.
wandered up to her, she'd have been like, yeah, all right, mate, I'll come back with
Mo
you.
nearly had her 5 minutes before.
Yeah, innit? You know what I mean? If you're sat between Vince and Jerry Lawler all night, anyone could be taking you away, quite frankly.
To the victor goes the spoils!
I've got off of a bird before at a party, and then just for we walked round to the back of the place, whatever, did whatever, came back, and then I had no idea what her name was. So I literally asked, I was like, "Oh, what shall I save you in my phone as?"
She just goes, my name.
Marcy.
Yeah, my name. Oh, yeah, good idea.
I'm going to save you as slot
How are you
face.
spelling that?
How
Is that
do you
when
spell it
she
again?
goes like this? Gary. You go, "Oh, fuck. The lights come on. You go, shit. It's just some fucking rocker with long hair. Like a nice pair of jeans on. Sorry, Gary.
Is that Gary with 2 R's or not?
Yeah.
Just I'm trying to save it.
If we switch to Nitro, we have got Macho Man is telling us to snap into some spicy Slim Jims, and we get a promo for Clash of the Champions on January the 23rd. And we've got our main event, which is the WCW World Title, Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. Out comes our man Ric Flair. He's got a lot of support in the crowd, actually, for this one. He's got a massive plaster on his head because he gigged himself pretty badly at Starrcade, to be honest, as you can well imagine he does. I thought the real shame here was we didn't get a shot of him with the title belt.
Yeah, at
No.
all.
This is his 12th win of the title, like 12-time champion. He's got his beautiful robe on. You wanted that moment where he takes it off and you're going to see that
Yeah, you didn't see the
massive
belt,
gold
did you?
belt. And you're like,
Well, plus as well, he comes out first because Hogan's going, I ain't coming out first, brother. Off you go.
it just felt like a real. I like if you just want that moment of seeing it, and didn't.
It was to the point where I had to double check. I was like, was Flair champion? Oh, he was. He was.
Yeah.
He the belt at all. But they don't want you to see that, do they? You
No.
don't want that to be the image. Him with a belt, not Hogan.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing though, because you just sort of see the referee just sort of carrying it off as Hulk comes down. And you're like, oh man, this is. Why are we not hyping this? It's a new champ, but it's WCW.
The belt should be the most prestigious, most focused on thing if it's featured in the matches. Like, you know, you'd never watch a boxing match or anything and like not see the fucking. Was it even raised in the air? No, it wasn't.
I don't think it was.
No, the ref just took it and wandered off with it.
What's the advantage of like sort of breezing over it like that? I know it's like we say it's a Hogan ego thing, but surely like if you're making a big deal of the guy having it, well, eventually when Hogan gets it, it's even bigger deal. But instead it's just non-existent. I didn't used to like it in certain non-title matches into the Attitude Era. They'd send the guys out without a belt. And you'd just be like, well, I'd wear that fucking belt everywhere. I mean, I'd wear it in Subway. Try and get any discount for the champ.
Hold your trousers up with it.
Mine
So,
everywhere.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Check it out. Isn't it? Look how jealous Gaz is. Oh, my God.
Sam's going to come back with
He's just
birdie
given up.
around his waist.
He's going to come back with just a belt. Just a normal buckle-up belt, isn't he?
A bit of string. He used to hold his trousers up.
Gaffer tape just come around the middle. So
He wears dungarees, though, don't he, the belt, does he?
I know what he's going to go and get. He's just going to go and get the AEW belt, isn't he?
sorry, boys. I just had to go and check on the cat for a minute there.
Is that the Divas title?
When you said the cat, do you mean Jerry Lawler's ex-wife?
I stole it off Paige in Norwich. I'm just going to leave this here for the whole rest of the show now. I'm a knock-off AEW belt.
I'm going to have to leave mine somewhere. Gaz, where
Boys,
you
where's your belts?
Yeah, you.
Just in my kitchen. I've got no
Where are you going to put your belt, Gaz? Gaz, where's your belt?
I don't collect belts. I'm not a belt. I'm not Kenny Omega. The belt.
I don't collect belts.
Okay, now.
It's taking a gold turn.
I've got nothing to say, if anything.
I've got some kitchen roll. That's about it.
I'm just going to go.
All right. Yes. That's the real hardware. There, son.
Yeah.
So that is
Unbelievable. We're going to make it look like I'm wearing it now. Oh, I might wear it, actually. I've only worn it once.
I've
got pictures of you. Right.
I'm getting a bit hard putting this on. Emily's going to get it tonight. I don't know.
I'm sure she won't.
Have you done the Shawn Michaels post? Sorry, man. I need to. Have you done the Shawn Michaels picture yet?
The Playboy one?
Yeah.
Oh, don't. Because he'll send it to us.
Oh, I've done it.
I don't want to send
it. It works like a dream.
Yes.
That's it.
I'd need a bigger belt to cover it up.
I'll send that picture to Gary with 2 R's.
We get Hulk Hogan comes out. He gets a lot of pyro. But he gets a few boos, Gaz. So you must have been a bit disappointed. But I noticed we had a lot of foam Hulk Hogan hands.
There was 3 guys in the front row, weren't there? All Hulk Hogan'd up and Nacho Man'd up. So that was
a lot of yellow
plants.
in the crowd, weren't there?
I think they were plants in there. And then you had Eric Bischoff still trying to convince us that Hogan's over, and the crowd are going wild, but they're not. They're booing.
There's a lot of booing.
Boo Hogan. Boo Hogan.
Smithies, are they booing me?
No, they're saying Boo Earns. Boo Earns.
Are you saying boo or Boo Earns? I was saying Boo Earns.
We start. Hogan overpowers Rick, and Flair chops him a few times, which Hulk obviously just no sells. But Flair takes control, and he goes up the top, and he gets slammed off there. 42 minutes in, Mongo tells us,
You guys are beating those little snot bubbles out of each other. You know how you get hit? I won't describe that.
Quite a gruesome thought there. They fly out on the floor and are back in, and we get the Flair flip over the turnbuckles, but a thumb to the eye and a chop to the knee gets him in control of the match. We get a figure 4 leg lock in the middle of the ring, and the supposedly pro-Hogan crowd goes pretty mad when Flair does this. Hogan reverses it, and this prompts Jimmy Hart to come out and distract Hulk. Flair goes back to the knee again and follows with a suplex. Eric describes Jimmy Hart as...
Oh, wait a minute, the maggot of the South!
See what he did there?
Yeah, it's
I was
comedy,
hoping he
isn't
would have said like Jimmy Fart or something like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But he didn't do it.
He's not at your level of pun, is he?
No,
Dan?
he's not. No.
Bischoff
Did you
is
see?
gutted.
I'll put you on our Instagram as a pun, but I can't pun expert or something.
No.
It's because I couldn't think of anything fucking else. to say
Anything else
about
you're
it.
good at, Gaz? That's just it.
Which bit for you, Sam?
Don't know.
Sums it up there, doesn't it? Right,
That
Dave,
is
carry on.
literally what I put. Hang on.
We get Hulk Hogan. He starts convulsing on the floor after the suplex, doesn't he? It looks absolutely ridiculous. But Flair makes the mistake of going for the pin. He's not having that. It's comeback time. We get the finger. We get the big boot. Does anyone find it a bit weird though when we get the Hulk Hogan comeback and we don't get the crowd like cheering along with it? Because I'm so used to the like big
I felt
finger
like the crowd
wag
were
and stuff.
50-50.
They were
if
into
I'm
it a
honest.
bit, but I'm used to like Hulk Hogan
Massive
WrestleMania
pop, yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah, it just feels a bit weird.
Didn't he eye rake him on his comeback as well, like just randomly?
Oh, he loves an eye rake or a
Yeah,
back
he loves
rake.
them.
Yeah,
He
he
loves
does
them.
all that. Yeah.
Loves it, doesn't he? So we get the big boot, the leg drop. This gets Arn Anderson, who comes in, hits Hulk with the brass knucks. Hulk just no-sells it for some reason. And we get the DQ at 8 minutes. I cannot believe he no-sold a brass knucks.
You know why, though? He hit him in the tash. And that tash took the blow. Because it's a Fu Manchu tash, Sam. So that deflected all the blow.
Wasn't happy with that.
Different
in
breed
my
of
house.
tash, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and we've covered that extensively already, Sam. Extensively. Hulk attacks Anderson and he takes the brass knucks. He hits Flair, Anderson, Pillman, and Benoit. And this is the first time we've actually seen all four horsemen in the ring together. So that's kind of good.
Bloody knee.
Yeah, they've
In
just
front
been
of Hogan.
duffed in and smashed in.
Absolutely insane.
The Giant turns up with a bar stool. For fuck's sake, I don't know what that was about. He was about to hit Hulk with it, but the Macho Man grabs it. Hulk smashes the Giant out of the ring. Giant's going mad, pulling up some black cloth, and the Zodiac starts uttering the words hurt or pain, and that was it. Match was okay. It's great seeing two names, but the ending was terrible. Why does Hulk Hogan have to no-sell brass knuck shots and then literally kick everyone's ass? I'm so sorry, Gareth. It's terrible.
Well, this match was 10 years too late, when it really, if you wanted Flair Hogan in 96, it's probably not when you wanted to see it. They're past their prime. But I was disappointed in Hulk. I know.
What?
No selling. I mean, he had the four horsemen who have come across the last couple of weeks as being the baddest men in WCW on their knees begging for their lives because Hogan's there. I mean, I'm glad the Giant come down to save them from a 1-on-4 beatdown. But
Just the image of it just isn't right, is it? It's like one Hogan equals 4 of you, and you're all on your knees.
Yeah.
It's just horrible. Doesn't help anyone.
I say you got upset because Hogan no-sold, but then were you disgruntled because he ripped a perfectly good vest? Or these are just things that Hogan does, isn't it?
Just standard Hogan practice.
Yeah, it's true.
How many vests do you think he's ripped over the years?
He just got
I
one.
was
He
just
just
thinking
re-sews it.
Someone
every time.
must
He
have
He's only
sends
got
it to
one.
Bret Hart's mum and she sews it back up.
They got
Or
the
it's
one.
Velcro.
Velcroed it off, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for me. The match was okay.
I wonder
but-
how much you can get a ripped Hogan vest for.
I was going to ask Gaz, he must know.
A lot of money. It's a lot of money.
There must be so many fakes out there, though.
Yeah.
Easily fake that. I could just rip a shirt now and say Hulk.
There's,
Hogan, couldn't I?
Does it smell like racism?
Yes.
A little white residue just around the collar.
Yes.
I would say though, I mean, they come out, they played all the hits, didn't they? Hogan did his hulking up, he did the big boot, did the leg. Flair did the chops and the knee and the figure four. So you had all the bits in there you want from those guys. But the ending to me with Savage and Hogan and the four horsemen just looking like chumps just didn't do it.
You didn't need to make the Horsemen look that terrible.
Not since you've built them up as well over the past couple of weeks.
They're legit, so yeah, it was kind of stupid. Talking of stupid, if we switch over to Raw, we have the Lombardi Trophy presentation, and it's Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler, who is presenting this trophy to the Smoking Guns, who are not happy. They throw it on the floor, they beat him up, they chuck some drinks over him, and that's the end of the Raw.
It wasn't just
Bowl
any drink,
there.
though, was it? It was iced tea because that's who's sponsoring the Raw Bowl.
Oh, was it? I didn't
Yeah.
get that bit. Oh, Oh, well,
That goes to your point earlier that, you know, you've got a few of these guys just stood around in the locker room that could have had a match rather than re-showing old matches that have already happened. They all stood there, Ahmed Johnson or whoever. And...
All the stars, Brooklyn Brawler.
Brawler, yeah. He follows me on Twitter. Be kind.
Nice. Don't follow us.
Right, before we move too far on.
Oh, God, here we go.
Hey, Hulk Hogan, ring worn, ripped vest. Comes with a plaque and photos of Hogan holding it and a picture of him ripping a different vest by the looks of it. Starting bid, Gaz. Starting bid is what?
I don't know. I've probably put in a bid on it somewhere.
Give me a ballpark number.
I don't know. 500 quid.
1,500.
One. Dave?
I was going to say 1,200.
Oh, that's why you're the fucking boss, Dave. $1,250 starting bid. It's currently got 0 bids on it.
I should go. I'll go with my
check in 5 minutes.
Let's change that.
Yeah.
Lauren's going to be shouting at you. What the fuck's going on?
As the epitome of why we get treated like utter shit by the powers that be, because we will spend upwards of $1,200 on a ripped vest from an old balding man.
An old man's ripped up
to fight people.
Off a granddad's vest.
Ain't nowhere else you're going to find that. No other industry. Maybe like in the sci-fi route, you go down there and you can get one of Spock's ears for $5,000 or something. But other than like Trekkies, we're not far off that, are we?
Yeah, it's the bottom of the barrel, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd never spend a ludicrous amount of money on just some fucking gimmicked kind of thing like that, because I'm not a mark. I'm a smart fan.
Fucking idiot.
In the Royal Rumble, the man known as Vader.
We get a nice Vader promo video of him working out to some pretty ropey rock music, but yeah, pretty decent. I'm happy with that as a monster announcement. That's
a big
yeah.
Because
legit.
Vader was WCW, like, to me, to see him in a WWF ring is kind of in that kind of realm of seeing Flair.
We get to go to billionaire Ted's wrestling war room to end Raw. We get shown the Razor's Edge, and they ask the Huckster if he can pull that off, and he says, "No way, brother. Can Nacho Man do a powerbomb or a jackknife?" And Huckster says,
"Brother, at my age, my feet don't leave the ground."
Ted asks, "What can they do?" And they do some posing, and we're told you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
The new WWF generation, on top of the hill, not over it.
Sick burn. Absolutely woeful way to end the show.
Can I just do a quick
pile of rubbish?
Pop quiz, a one question pop quiz. Who's the current champion in WWF? Bret the Hitman Hart. Okay. Who has he just been defending his belt against the last couple of papers?
Yeah,
Bob Backlund.
The Bob thing's a bit different, isn't it? You know.
Do you know the age gap between Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan? Bob Backlund is 4 years older than Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan currently today is 67. Bob Backlund is 71. Don't have the fucking audacity, and they're bigger names. So I know you can say, "Oh, but they're not building a company around Bob," but they have brought him back from obscurity to being pay-per-views.
He didn't show this week, though, did they? So they might have known.
Maybe because Vince is so sort of like short-sighted. Someone's gone, "Vince, what about Bob?" And he went, "What? What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, we're going to do the thing about Hulk and Macho Man. What? Bob's older." And he's gone, "We just won't put him on telly this week.
Just put on the hog pen match.
Yeah, put him on next week." Yeah.
We'll show the hog pen.
Probably have
Brooklyn
Brawler against Bob Backlund, and they've just ignored that. Like, no, I'll stick the hog pen match on instead. But yeah, you know, I guess this is shots fired. Look.
Yeah.
What do you expect at this point?
It's all petty, isn't it?
Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent show. I thought it was an all right watch.
So was this is a week after Londra Blazers done the belt thing. So is that directly?
That's 2 weeks.
2 weeks after.
2 weeks. Okay.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because this is
like
the debut of this segment, isn't it? This is the first time we see this act, is it?
Do you think?
What the
yes,
Huckster
yes,
it is, yeah.
absolutely. So I feel like Vince has held off, never mentioned the competition, and I think he's got to that point and he's gone, oh, fuck it, do you know what? And I don't blame him for shooting something back. I mean, but it's just, he's so out of touch, isn't he, Vince? Yeah. And so, like, he was sort of 2 steps away from doing, like, getting spitting image puppets in or something. I'm thinking, oh, that cut him to the core. Like, no one gives a fuck.
Love how unsubtle Vince is. Eric will do little jabs and Vince will just, like, throw an anvil at you and just go, look, this is it. I'm going this route. I'm going to put you down.
Look what he did when Diesel and Razor left.
Yeah.
Just fucking got 2 other guys to dress up, and he's a funny old boy. Vince,
he's just clueless, isn't he, on what's going to work? But in Vince's mind, it works. That's what it is.
I actually watched another one of these. I don't know if you guys are going to lead on to watch it another week, but it's where they take the piss out of a Larry King show because they're actually Larry King's on the same network as Nitro.
Right.
And then, so they've got Huckster and Nacho Man on
Yeah,
there.
they're on that, aren't they? Yeah, I've seen that.
He goes to the point where he goes, oh, how's Liz? And they both answer at the same time. They're both, oh, she's great. And you think that's a bit of, like, that's horrible. And it's a bit of an old reference at the same time as well, isn't it?
If we switch to Nitro, we've got Mean Gene in the ring again, and he says this was wilder than a New Year's Eve party. Yeah. Hulk says,
I love that.
This was wilder than my New Year's Eve party last night.
Mean Gene was on form tonight, though. He's just taking a piss at everyone and not giving a toss, is he? So Hulk says Macho's business has become his business. Hogan says it should be Flair and Arn versus Hulk and Randy next week. Savage then says they've got secret weapons you've never seen before. Hulk says, don't give away our secret weapons. Then flashes the brass knucks and shouts,
but monkey see, brother, monkey do.
He says if you get in his way, they might have a pair of knucks themselves. Then says,
fee, fi, fo, fum, that big, nasty, stinky one.
And some nonsense about chopping down the giant beanstalk. Savage does his problems, how to solve them one at a time.
Oh, I like that.
And it's gut check time for the Nature Boy. Hulk calls the 4 horsemen the 4 blind mice and says he'll take all 4 of the Shetland ponies on himself. And that was pretty much it. We then get Eric saying we'll have the match between Rick and Arn and Hulk and Randy. It's such a weird promo to end on. It was like they were just making it up again as they go along.
And Hogan literally says, because I wrote it down, he says that I've got to get through Flair and Arn Anderson to get to the Giant. And Flair's your world champion still. Like,
nah, not in Hulk's eyes, though.
I know, but it's
Hogan's
just crazy.
The champ. I'm intrigued to see what this secret weapon is. I'm hoping it's the boat from Thunder in Paradise and they come tanking down to the ring in it. And like a machine gun comes out and just cuts everyone up.
Hogan's got a secret weapon, has he?
Yeah.
I think it's a 4th move that he's learned.
Be a fool.
Sam. No.
It's almost like all I was waiting to see was the Mega Powers handshake at the end. That's what I was just waiting for. That is what I was waiting to see. I could see it happening.
Overall, I thought the show was pretty decent. It's easy.
I
to
loved
watch.
it. I absolutely loved Nitro this week.
Yeah, other than Hulk ruining it a little bit for me, I was kind of happy.
He didn't ruin it, did he? I wouldn't say to say he ruined it would mean that like he ruined it. He just made you roll your eyes a bit.
Yeah,
I might have to say he nearly ruined it, didn't he?
Yeah, it was close for me. Sam, how are our ratings looking?
Yeah, 2.6 for Raw and 2.5 for Nitro.
Hogan did ruin it.
Not a lot in it. Really was there. And do you think sometimes the ratings are based on how good the week before show was?
100%.
And there weren't one. So
yeah, people can't.
Hogan
predict.
versus Flair. Come on,
yeah, you think that would. But
No,
I said it's
does
10 years too late, isn't it?
Crazy.
But do these matches, like, you know, when you used to have for TV magazines and it would say, "Oh, this week on Neighbours, Brad gets shot," so everyone fucking watches it. Would they have on there? Would they know the matches in advance?
I don't think they would. No, I
you
don't
could
think
open
they
it
do.
and say this week on Nitro. No, because they didn't know themselves, did they?
I don't think so.
You didn't have the internet back then. You weren't looking up what's going to be happening on the next episode of Raw and Nitro, did you?
Sorry, so it's not something that they mentioned last week then and built to Hogan versus Flair next week?
Oh, did they mention? I don't think they did they?
They mentioned that Hulk was off his suspension, but
Right.
Because they wouldn't have known
His
that.
1 week suspension. Yeah, Nitro don't tend to do that, do they? And Nitro don't tell you what's happening next week generally.
No, and also they wouldn't have known that Flair was going to be the champion because the last episode of Nitro was Christmas Day. He won at Starrcade on the 28th. So.
Hi there. I'm Kevin Rogue from Jaded Wrestling's Jaded Family Discussion and the Year of Duke and Rogue podcast. It's my pleasure to bring to you this week's pops and this week's flops of the week. Enjoy.
GG. What's your pop for?
I don't.
Raw?
I'm going to tell you mine.
Oh, he goes, fuck
No, not
this.
really. Not really. Not really.
But
I want you to do it in just your belt. Just your belt.
This would take a while.
It would be really suspicious if he was pre-baby oiled, wouldn't it? I'm gone, I'll bring yourself off.
He's mahogany Hogan tanned.
Yeah, spray tan. Raw pop, young man. What was it?
Raw pop. I think it was the hog pen match. I was surprised by the layout of it. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So I think that's probably my pop. I don't think there was much better, other than Owen being good. But yeah, that's probably for me the hog pen match, because I've heard about it, but actually watching it, it wasn't the stupid match I thought it would be.
It's not as stupid as you imagine a hog pen match should be. Yeah, fair play to him. Yeah. What was your flop from Raw?
It's probably the same match. So Triple
just Sam don't know how this works. He's taking over my gimmick. It's just not making any fucking sense.
I'll do this.
A particular part of it is, so Triple H, obviously you mentioned he gets cut on the back and then he gets thrown into shit. Shit in the wound cannot be healthy. That that was just a bit. That's one thing you don't want in a wound is shit.
Sam, what was your Raw pop and flop?
Well, I'm with my boy here. My pop was the slot match from In Your House. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was best of a bad bunch, and the slot match wasn't even that bad. It could have still been my pop on a fairly adequate show. So yeah, I liked it. I liked everything about it for a shitty gimmick match.
Your flop?
There I go. My flop was the slop match. No, I'm only joking. It's happened again. We're going to have to go back in time and kill my mum now. For Huckster and the Nacho, man, was just badly done. You know, it's just no good. Especially apart from the fact when you watch Nitro, Hogan actually looks 10 years younger and slimmer. And when you look at Hogan in like 1990, he's this big sort of bellied man, and he just looks older. And Macho Man probably hasn't really aged or changed in appearance much since like 1991. They're pretty much the same. Only I would say Hogan does look younger, and they're kind of portraying them as these old cripples whilst having someone 4 years older in their main event. It's just fucking like, get a fucking
Not
grip.
for you.
No.
Gaz, Raw pop, Raw flop.
I popped on Raw this week for Big Sexy Kevin stealing Jerry's missus.
Yep.
What a man, what a stud, what a big sexy dude.
Absolute stud, mate. And the flop.
My flop was Brother Love with his constant eyes closed or eyes wide shut fucking segment in a locker room with no one in it. I can't stand him.
Yeah, it don't tick anyone's boxes seeing that, does it?
Everything about Brother Love sucks a dick.
I'm with you, Gareth. My Raw pop was Diesel stealing the girl away from the sex pest because he is an absolute legend. So that's for me. And my flop, I'm with you, Sam. It's the Huckster and the Nacho Man. It's just it's too ham-fisted. You know, have a moan about your competition, but you don't have to do it in such a
say something cutting.
Yeah,
Fuck it, don't have a moan. Just say something that makes people go, yep.
Well, yeah. Instead of me looking at some old man.
Have you met Vince or heard anything that he ever speaks about ever? It's never going to happen, is it?
No, exactly, no.
One of my main things is like he's kind of parodying them, but it's the gimmicks and stars that he made in WWF. So it's like you're almost taking the piss out of what you've done in the past. There's so many layers to the stupidness. Not for me. But, if we move on to Nitro, Gigi, what was your pop and flop for Nitro this week?
I nearly said my pop would have been, because when Mean Gene says this was wilder than my New Year's Eve party last night, I had this just image of Mean Gene just throwing a party and how smelly his mustache must have been afterwards. I just thought,
what the kitty tickler?
But
we didn't put Mean Gene in our top moustaches. Sorry.
No, Fink would have been mine. Fink would have been up there.
Oh God.
But my pop would have actually been Zodiac when they're pulling the giant away and he's just going yes, like help the poor. How is he going to know where he's supposed to go if he's pushing away and going yes? Poor guy doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just saying hurt. What hurts, boy? Tell us what hurts, boy.
And that was your pop.
Hurt! Hey! Hurt!
That was your pop. What was your flop? Benoit and Regal wrestling.
Yeah, terrible. No, my flop was probably just not showing the belt. I just don't get it. I want to see Ric Flair with a belt.
It's such a beautiful belt, and he's in such a beautiful robe. It was like there's a perfect moment to reveal this and go, ta-da, 12-time champion. Look at this beauty, and such a missed opportunity. Sam, what about you? What was you popping for, and what was you flopping for?
The fucking 5-star Regal Benoit. It was perfect. I even liked the disjointed.
Perfect.
I mean, for 1995, it was as near to fucking perfect as you can get. Even the fact that now we're sitting here questioning, was Benoit really hurt?
What was your flop then?
No flop.
No flop.
You fucking heard me. No flop. And I'm not. That's not to say. I can hear Jim Ross now instead of shouting Stone Cold going, no flop. No flop. No flop.
There's no flop.
He's still hard, damn it. He's still hard. He hasn't flopped. It was fire from the fucking start to the end. And don't get me wrong, right? So if a wrestling show or wrestling match is meant to go up and get you high and then bring you down a bit, sim you up, bring up, for points where there were little drops, I didn't go down because I was still just so excited from the general feel of the whole show.
Jesus.
I can only say, in my honest opinion, after I turned that off and I'd looked through the notes, they weren't no flop for me. It was as good as 45-minute show as you're going to get.
Wrestling perfection. They've hit
well,
perfection.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying that. Yeah.
Right. Gaz, what about you?
Fuck
have you got a pop and a flop, or have you...
I didn't pop for anything. I didn't flop for anything. It was just...
mediocre at best.
It was on a come down from the night before.
No.
You didn't feel nothing.
I popped a Nitro for Macho Man shoving the foreign object back in Arn's pants. I thought that was just genius.
Yeah, fair point.
It's just absolutely fantastic. That was brilliant. And you were talking about the universe imploding. I'm going to have to flop for Hulk Hogan's Hui Horseman Horseplay.
Flopped for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm going to really like the Horseman and Flair and Arn and everything they're doing, and then this just kind of shits all over it from a great height.
Christ.
This is the biggest episode we've ever had. We've got a special guest on, and he's popped and flopped for the same thing. Gazza's flopped for Hogan. I've no flopped for Nitro.
Not flopped at all.
Doesn't make any sense.
I haven't even flopped.
How did you watch Zodiac and not flop is what I can't work out.
Because I was so high on the previous skit.
On Hogan.
It didn't bring me down, yeah.
Well, for me, the pop of the night was Chris Benoit doing an amazing tombstone piledriver on William Regal, because those two had an amazing match, and that was just one of those moments you're like, oh, you don't get to see this move ever. And it was just incredible. I do have a flop, and it's Hulk Hogan deciding that he can sell brass knucks moves like they didn't happen. You don't get hit with brass knucks and jump back up. It makes no sense.
Didn't he put them back in the pants as well after? Surely, I'm sure there was some more something with the pants.
He grassed up the ref. He grassed him up to the ref, didn't he, and showed him off at that point.
And therefore lost his shot at winning the title. Yeah.
Yes, but that wasn't worth flopping.
He's too honest. He's honest to a fault, Hogan, isn't he?
Yes. He's such a
He's
rest, like,
straight
you
down
do-
the middle, doesn't he?
You do realise if you're going forward with this, I'm going to call the match off and you won't be champion again. He's like, hey, look.
Tell him off for me.
Yeah, grassing is bigger to him than winning the fucking belt.
What an idiot.
Moron.
Yeah.
It's title shots left, right, and centre. He don't give a shit.
He don't give a shit. No, he don't.
Which brings us to which show is better. We've got Nitro leading 34-11, a runaway success in 1995. For me, this was a lot closer than I actually expected. I like the Raw Bowl match. I'm not a fan of them showing pay-per-view matches on Raw, but I like the promo segments. I thought as a show, it was easier to watch than normal. But they ended on a stupid WCW parody segment. And if they'd only booked me a half-decent match, I probably would have given it to Raw. But it's another W for Big Eric and Nitro. So 35-11 in Nitro's favour. Gaz, where are you going?
The runaway train ain't stopping, is it? It's Nitro.
36-11. Sam,
Nitro.
why are you going? Nitro.
Raw. I'd love it if it said Raw.
Would have been the most
I've
sad
voted for
thing
Raw
ever.
once, and you fucking like made a whole thing about it, and I had to like do an apology the next week and everything. And yeah, we even. I'm not going to kayfabe this. Actually, I'm going to kayfabe it. We even had someone write in and ask why I went for Raw, didn't we, Dave?
You're sinking your eye, Sam.
Oh shit, we're on YouTube.
Is it? I want that.
Ah!
That makes it 37-11. GG, do you want to complete it? Because I can't see anyone voting for Raw.
Definitely. I was glad to have been on this one to watch. Like when I saw the match card and I see Flair, Hogan, Regal, Benoit, Macho, Arn Anderson, you can't compete with that. Brilliant.
No,
You thought, where was Disco Inferno versus Hawk?
Yeah, true.
Where was this
Big
happening?
Bubba?
Yeah.
That makes it 38-11 in Nitro's favour. The runaway train does not stop yet, does it? So
You are listening to the Monday Night Chores podcast. Dig it!
You can listen to this scud missile of a podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and any generic podcasting app. Also on tape cassette in your local library. They should have a whole fucking column of all the Monday Night Chores.
they don't, they should. Gareth.
Yes. You can find us on Twitter at Monday Night Chores. We're on Instagram, Monday_night_chores. We're also on Facebook, Monday Night Chores Podcast, and on YouTube at Monday Night Chores.
Excellent. A big thank you to GG for joining us. Where can we find your lovely podcast?
Everywhere you get your podcast from, there's something about wrestling, and follow me at GG on wrestling.
Go and do it now.
There.
Perfect. As always, if you're listening or watching, then get in touch, as we would love to hear from more people. We're loving what you're hating, why you dislike Sam, that sort of thing. Whatever you want. We are ploughing through 1996 wrestling for you all. And so until next time, it is a goodbye from me, Dave Mack. A goodbye from Gareth Wadland.
I'm off to have a reach around into Arn Anderson's trunks and have a feel about this foreign object.
And a farewell from Sam Wakefield.
I'm off to defend my belt.
Would you stop with the I'm off, you fucker?
Emily Wakefield.
Basically
and then
stole
ultimately
Gaz's
cheat.
gimmick.
And I can't remember where I was going because Gaz shouted in my fucking ear.
Until next time, it is UK Wrestling Podcasting for life. Bye.
Monday
we
night
can't remember it.
Chores. I've done it.
Marty Jannetty would be an empty vol event.